Recently, actress Hayden Panettiere voluntarily checked in for treatment for postpartum depression. The Nashville actress has a 10-month-old daughter with her fiance, who's a professional boxer. Joining me right now to discuss postpartum depression is Hillary LaMontagne with the SIU Department of Psychiatry. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning, Melanie. Thanks for having me on again.
You bet. So we look at Hayden, we see that she seems to have it all. She's 26, she's got a great career, fiance, cute little baby. Why are we surprised by this?
I think we as women oftentimes are bombarded with unrealistic images of what motherhood is and are afraid to be honest when we're struggling, afraid that we will measure up as less than perfect. A lot of times moms suffer from feelings of guilt, tend to compare themselves to other mothers, saying things like, well, I'm not producing as much breast milk as that woman, or I'm doing formula, what's wrong with me? Or she seems so happy, she's adjusting to her new baby just fine and juggling her responsibilities. So a lot of women, unfortunately, suffer in silence with this issue because of stigma surrounding it.
Yeah, that's too bad. Is it a good thing that we are seeing people like Hayden Panettiere? She's a public figure. Is it a good thing that she's coming out and saying that she's struggling with this?
Absolutely. That takes tremendous courage. I'm so proud of her and celebrities like her, like Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields published a fabulous book a few years ago, as I'm sure you're aware, called Down Came the Rain, in which she described her battle with postpartum depression. Mm-hmm. And that was a lifesaver for me. I too struggled with postpartum depression, and working as a therapist, I know the warning signs and symptoms, but I was afraid to come out because I was worried about how my coworkers would think about me, worried what my friends would think of me. Fortunately, I got the help that I needed, but I was rather quiet about it among my group of new mom friends because I sort of had this internal competition going on where I was comparing myself to them and somehow thought I wasn't measuring up and wasn't being, the perfect mom to my son, even though, I was bonding with him and providing for his needs. And I think that leads us to another important point, that postpartum depression can take many forms. It's more of a spectrum disorder. And Hayden Panettiere did an excellent job explaining that on her recent interview with on the Kelly and Michael show, because it's not only depression, but oftentimes women have intense anxiety or irritability. And I was on the spectrum where I was struggling with that intense anxiety and irritability with it, and then would go to work or go out with friends with my child in public and put on this mask that everything was okay because I was so concerned about being judged. And I feel compelled to speak out now. I wish I would have been brave enough to have done it sooner.
How long ago was it when you were?
My son is now 5.5.
Okay, so it was a little while ago. And we see that Hayden has a 10-month-old baby.
Yes.
How long can a woman struggle with this?
That's an excellent question. Women can struggle with this for several years if it goes untreated.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
So it can go into where a child is 2 or 3, and if a mom is untreated, maybe mom's at home still struggling with depression and anxiety. I heard a wonderful piece on NPR's On Point yesterday with Tom Ashbrook where he covered this subject, and one of the callers was a 60-year-old man, and he said, while I understand depression from a biological standpoint, I still have a lot of resentment towards my mother because I was 3 years old and she didn't take care of me, and if not for my aunts, I would have sat in my own feces and I wouldn't have been fed, and I've been in therapy my entire adult life. So, I suspect in that case, this gentleman's 60 and resources then, are fewer than they are now, and stigma, of course, was worse. But just the weight that untreated postpartum depression can carry, not only for the mother, but for the children and for the partners, spouses of women dealing with untreated postpartum depression. They need support and understanding and not to be shunned or criticized or, told that, come on, just snap out of it, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It's not a matter that that's that simple.
Right, exactly. Well, Hillary, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're quite welcome.
Yeah, sharing your story. And, you know, if anyone out there is watching and they're struggling with postpartum depression, you can call over to SIU. That number is 217-545-8000. So, Hillary, we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Melanie.